What's good, everybody? It's your brother, Mad Black, the most dangerous and most toxic black man on the internet, and I am black up in your face again with some more pro black commentary. I posted a video on my community post by the black YouTuber Night Talk, and he was reacting to a video by an Asian man named Charlie Cheon. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing it. I'll be respectful to Charlie, even though he's not very respectful to people who look like me. But Charlie Cheon was making a video basically asking, like, what are we doing to white people, right? And basically saying that we are when I say we, I'm talking about he was mainly focusing on Asians on social media and how they are extremely racist towards white people. And Night Talks was reacting to this video and he was agreeing with Charlie Cheon. They both were doing their best to come out and defend white people. Night Talks, he put on his Superman outfit and put on his cape, and here he comes to save the day for white folks. And Charlie Cheon, he put on his superhero outfit. Well, you know what? He didn't put on a Superman outfit. He put on his Super Sentai outfit. Okay, he came out Red Ranger style with his helmet and his sword and laser gun and was ready to fight the evil, mean old minorities out there who are hurting the feelings of all these good white folks out there who watch social media. They can't go anywhere without some evil minority saying something bad about them on social media, right? So, I did some deeper digging into Charlie Cheon and his channel, and apparently he's made other videos out there as well talking about race, and he's even one of those people who made a video saying that blacks were anti-Asian. So once I saw that, I watched that video and a few others, I realized what his agenda was. And, I was like, okay, I see what he's doing. All right. He's one of these Asian people who is from an immigrant background. And he has figured out that the only way to, or the only, he's figured out that he feels the only way to move forward with his people is for them to join up with white folks and bolster white folks and put white folks on a pedestal, and then maybe they can get some sort of honorary whiteness or honorary status. And one of the best ways to do that is to not only turn on your own people, but to crap on black people, especially. You got to crap on all minorities, but especially black people, because, the white people in this country, they judge how they're doing by how well black people are doing. So as long as black people are subservient and at a bottom class and not doing good or being viewed as criminally inclined, white people can always put themselves on a pedestal by saying, I'm always doing better than those Negroes out there. And they don't use the word Negroes, they use the other word, right? So based on that, I watched, like I said, I watched Charlie Cheon's videos, and I looked a little bit at what All Nights was saying, and I even left a little comment on there, just kind of being funny. It was more tongue in cheek as far as the comment goes, and I basically threw all of the talking points that people give to black people as far as dealing with racism. You know what I'm saying? So, they usually tell black people that we got to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. And, any type of racism, it happened a long time ago, so it's not happening now. And so I just threw that back at them saying, white people, you'll be okay. There's, you just got to pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. You can't base how you're living based on something that happened in the past. They keep telling us that slavery and everything else happened in the past, so they got to get over the past and move forward and live in the now. And also, there are tons of wealthy and rich white people out there like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. And, these people are all big and wealthy, people like Donald Trump. So if these white males can become wealthy, then that means there is no racism. You see, and even not just white men, white women too. Like Martha Stewart. There are lots of wealthy white women out there, and lots of wealthy white celebrities and business moguls. So that means that racism can't exist with you people. It's just that you're making excuses for your shortcomings. And if you really want to change things in the white community, you have to acknowledge all this white on white crime. If you fix the white on white crime, then you'll be okay. All right. So that was basically kind of like paraphrasing my comment and kind of giving them back a little bit what they give to us. Because really, if they think that we have nothing to complain about in this country, then they definitely don't have anything to complain about. You see what I'm saying? But you know how it is. They make their bones by playing the victim, and they'll always have minorities like Charlie Cheon and Night Talks to come out there and save them. All right. And the reason I even got this video from Night Talks, I don't really follow his channel, but I've watched some of his commentary on the whole transgender movement. So he and I actually agree a little bit on how this transgender movement is going and how these liberals kind of push that on folks. So that's why I got this video in particular, because I guess YouTube figured I don't want to watch the rest of his channel. Now, Night Talks is what I like to classify as a true believer. He believes in what he's saying. Okay, he's not one of these fake, phony conservatives that get on social media and pretend that they agree with white folks because they just want to get views. Night Talks believes in this nonsense because he's married to a white female and he's had a child with her. So of course he's 10 toes down for whatever. He's for that. Okay, so he's a true believer, and if nothing else, I might not agree with it, but at least I can respect where he's coming from. And this might be a situation as far as the quote unquote racism being heaped on white people, where he and I might just have to agree to disagree. Okay, and that's fine. That's how the world works. Okay, where two people can have different opinions on the same social media platform and might even have been raised in very similar circumstances. Okay, but there is a little bit of BS on that side of the argument, and it's not so much him, but I did see some other black people get online and look at Charlie Cheon's video, and they're bigging it up and agreeing with them. And a lot of them really just wanted views for their channel. I get it. They got a white audience, so they want to cater to that white audience, or their white audience members might have sent them that video, so they have to agree with it. That's cool. I get it. You want to make a little $100 or so on YouTube, go get it. Go get your money before the springtime and the summertime get here. You want to make a little bit of extra cash, and you got to kiss some white ass to do it. Get it. Get your money, okay? But a lot of that stuff is very disingenuous when it comes to how they define what racism is. So if you say something mean about a white person on social media, then that means you're being 100% racist against white people in general. Now, when the opposite happens, when someone says something bad about black people, they try to deny that it's racist. Not only that, but if a black person is murdered by a white person for no reason, they also try to deny racism. So you see what I'm saying? And those same black conservatives or libertarians or whatever they want to call themselves will make sure that they do all in their effort to deny that any racism was going on there, right? But now if you even say something about a white person or even make a joke or make fun of them, that's racist towards them. Now, I'm not one of these black people that gets into the whole definition debate about racism, all right? I've stopped doing that because I've seen that white people, they create these definitions of what words are supposed to mean. So, and they'll drill that into your head. And then when you get into a debate with them, then they'll say, well, that's not what it is, or this is the same thing, or it's not different, or it is different, whatever. you'll just get yourself all confused and twisted up. Okay, we all know black people that English is not our natural language. They make things up as they go along, right? So you debating with them about the definition of what racism is, you say you want to say is racism or is discrimination or is bigotry. That's not what this word means. This is what racism really means. It's a waste of time. It's tomato for them. They can interchange them as they want to because it's their language and they've defined what it means, right? So there's no point in even getting into that. I don't waste my time with that. If anything that I say or anything that I do on this channel and you want to categorize it as me being hateful, racist, bigoted, discriminatory, prejudiced, uh, toxic, toxic masculinity, homophobic, transphobic, biphobic, phobic. If that's how you want to classify me, that's all to the good. Like my boy Redman said, I'll be that. I'll be that. Okay? All that stuff doesn't matter to me. I've learned from white people that all these little names and terms that they try to define you as means absolutely nothing in the long run because it's not going to change your behavior anyway, right? So white people have been called racist and everything else when it was painfully obvious that they were being racist, and that has not changed any of their behavior. You know, people calling Carolyn Bryant, the woman that had Emmett Till murdered, calling her racist has not put her in prison. So there's no point in even going into that direction or getting or me letting myself get bent out of shape by what these demons want to define as racism and bigotry. So you can call me whatever you want, okay? And truth be told, I won't even get offended if you want to call me the N word or whatever. If you want to go do that, fine. Just be prepared that I'm going to lob a whole bunch of different slurs and words at you. If you can take the barrage and the flames of what I'm going to throw back at you, okay, then go ahead and call me that. As long as I'm allowed to go back and forth with you, okay. I'm not one of these Negroes that turns the other cheek. Okay, I will turn your teeth upside down. And I definitely am not one of these Negroes who will just sit there and let you insult them. I'll go back and forth with you. There's one white boy who came to my channel trying to be slick. He made a little limerick or a little rhyme about black people committing crimes, and I freestyled with him. I gave him another little freestyle about how whites commit crime and how they fudge these stats. So go ahead. You know, as long as you can take the return fire, then you can say whatever you want. That stuff like that doesn't bother me. I'm not one of the black people that gets offended by this because I know what you're thinking and what's in your heart anyway. I only have very simple rules for how I deal with racists out there. Okay, and I expect, first of all, let me just say this: I expect a certain amount of professionalism from any person I'm around, whether they be black, white, Asian, Indian, Hispanic, whatever. Okay, that's what we should all strive to be as far as getting along in this country. Everyone should at least strive to be professional around each other. You don't have to like me. You don't have to come over my house. You're not invited to the barbecue or whatever. You don't have to dance with me or share your food. You don't have to pay me anything. Just pay me fair for the job that I do. And I'll go home to my home and you go home to your home and that'll be it. We'll be professional while we're at work and you'll act decent while we're there. And that'll be that. Now, if you can't do that, okay, I have 3 simple rules. Okay, very simple rules that anyone can follow. Any weirdo, mayonnaise, mutant, meth addict can follow these simple rules here. Okay, keep your hands to yourself. That includes any type of violence towards me or anyone else in my family. Okay, if you can't do that, we're scrapping. Number 2, mind your business. You know, if you follow number 2, then number 1 doesn't even come into question. But as far as minding your business, I'm not telling you where I'm going. I'm not telling you what I'm doing here. Okay, don't be asking me all these types of weird questions. I am not your slave anymore. I don't have to provide you with any freedom papers. Mind your goddamn business. Okay? And number 3, stay off of my property, please. If you don't know how to act and you're going to act crazy and you have hate in your heart for people who look like me, don't come on my property with any nonsense, okay? Because that's going to cause trouble as well. So if you can't be professional or you can't follow those three simple rules, there's going to be problems, and that's how I am. Okay, I don't get bent out of shape about you calling me the N word or whatever term you come up with, jig, jungle bunny, whatever. I don't get into the whole Black Lives Matter thing. I know my life matters. I don't need to say it every 5 minutes. A lot of those liberal-minded Negroes who do that because they want you to pretend that you have some humanity and show them some respect. Okay, I know I can't really get that out of you. It is what it is. I don't need you to like me or love me or mate with me or whatever or consent to being my buddy. You don't have to do all that if you don't want to. Okay, um, that's usually where that whole mindset of Black Lives Matter comes from. And I know my life matters. Okay, and so much so that I will defend my life no matter what means I have to use. Okay, so don't try to take my life or else there's going to be problems. Going back to that first rule, keep your hands to yourself. As long as you mind that, we're all to the good. Okay, and I'll let you go do what you want to do. You can be as free as you want on your social media channels. I wish they wouldn't take these bigoted videos down. I wish they would let white people say what they want on social media. I don't care about that. That only proves my point. I mean, they go do it anyway, and then they create these little enclaves where they get to say what they want. The funny ones are the ones that try to use either science or statistics or whatever to try to justify their hatred and bigotry. Shout out to Scott Adams. But yeah, there are people out there that try to use scientific justification. I mean, the Nazis did that, trying to use scientific justification for why they had to exterminate people who weren't white Germans, right? So I mean, it's nothing new, and they've done it here in America as well. I mean, you've seen the famous scene in Django Unchained. There are people who really thought that way, the same way as Calvin Candy does, and still do. Still think there's something physically deficient about black people, and they fed that into black people's minds and into black people's hearts, minds, and souls, to where black people actually believe that nonsense, and they regurgitate it or they perpetuate what white people poured into them. So that's why slavery and the nonsense around it was important. It's not just the slavery part. There's a whole social condition around it that degraded black people and is carried on till today. You had the house slaves and the Stevens back then running to save white folks, running to save Calvin Candy, and now you got the black conservatives and the black liberals and whoever running to save white folks from the other mean old minorities. I don't make the distinction between you black conservatives and black liberals. You both have the same mindset. You just have different ways of going about it. It's funny because you both sound the same when it comes to defending a lot of white rhetoric and stuff like that, right? Because the black liberal will deny that someone like Joe Biden is racist all the day long, right? And we know how racist that devil is, right? He's made it painfully obvious how he feels, but you'll have black liberals tell you all up and down that old Uncle Joe Biden is a good white man, right? So, to say to people like Night Talks and Charlie Cheon that they feel that they need to come out there and save white folks from all of us mean old minorities out here, it's laughable, and it is. I'm not going to say it's disturbing. I was about to say that, but it's not really disturbing because it's nothing that I don't expect from a lot of these types of folks out there that have a certain type of political leaning and a certain type of mindset. I do believe these people actually believe what they're saying. Sometimes true believers can be dangerous, but at least we know where they're coming from, and we know what their justification is, and we know what their true end goal is. So there's no ambiguity about why they're doing what they're doing. It just is one of those things that is what it is. And if you want to say the reverse about me and say I'm just one of these pro-black hoteps or whatever, and I'm just one of these pro-black bigots or something like the Hebrew Israelites or whatever, go right ahead. It doesn't bother me at all. Okay, I'll just say that I'm not exactly like these liberal-minded folks that you're talking about. The people that they were criticizing in the video They're talking about like these Asians or these black people or whatever who say mean things about white folks. Once again, they're the Black Lives Matter type. They're the ones that want to shame white people into liking them. They want white people to love them and like them and being accepted into their enclaves. These are the same type of people who complain if there's not enough black people or not enough Asian people in a white fantasy movie or a white comic book movie. I don't get into all that. I'm cool in and of myself. I'm cool with my people. Okay, if it was a movie with all black people, I'm cool with that. Those types of Negroes, those liberal types, they get nervous when that happens. When there's just black people around, they get nervous. They think all societies is supposed to be one big multicultural melting pot, and they can't live without it. So they feel the only way to get there is to shame white people into liking them. Okay, and if they shame white people enough, white people will cry, and the Negro will be able to put his head on the white person's lap, or for those black males out there, they'll be able to put their head between some fat white titties or something like that, and everything will be okay. They'll be able to finally live the life of peace and happiness that they've always wanted to have with white folks. And those Asian ones are the same too. They want to shame like I saw a whole bunch of them saying that they want to erase white people from the world by mating with them or having sex with them or whatever. And I said that right there shows what type of mindset you have, because that means you're going to keep perpetuating them if you keep wanting to have sex with them. Okay, and that just shows you want to get in some white panties or some white drawers. That's all that means to me when I see them say stupid stuff like that. That all that stuff is goofy. And I've talked about this before, like that whole situation where you had those black students. They had the quote unquote black student union in a white college and didn't want white people to come in there. You see what I'm saying? Like you can't define where white people go if white people own it and they gave it to you in the first place. So a lot of these white liberals gave these fools their mindset. These white liberals pushed all that social science garbage and multiculturalism and intersectionality and everything else on these fools. That's why they say it all the time. They feel emboldened and they're told to say it. White people have told them it's okay to talk like this. They won't talk like me because that's too scary. That's too pro-black. So I'm called Hotep and pro-black more by these crazy, goofy ass black liberals than I am by the black conservatives. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I say I don't ascribe to any side, any one or the other. Okay. And the last thing I'll say in this video, as far as my thoughts on, just for black people being racist towards white folks, is I wish black people were more racist against white people. I wish black people were actually racist against white people. I'll say that. Because if black people were actually racist against white people, not the nonsense we have now where you got black liberals or whatever shouting at white people on social media, that's not real racism. But if black people were truly racist and didn't like white people, then black people would accomplish all the things that all these black conservatives complain about all the time. Like black people would have that self-pride, that unit cohesion that would come from that racist mindset, that race first mindset. If they actually had that, they would put their people first. They would want their people to be the best, right? They will work towards building their own communities. And instead of letting other people run it for them or listening to what other people tell them, they wouldn't listen to either political party. They would do their own thing, have their own politicians, right? And, run their own municipals and enforce things on their own, right? If that was the case, if it was true that black people were truly racist against white people, they would do all the things that white people always say that black people are lacking. Black people just can't get it together. If we were racist, we could. If we were racist and bigoted and only cared about ourselves, we could get it together. But the fact of the matter is, most black people, they want to be so accepted into this society that is America that their unit cohesion be damned. And once again, Like I said, from the history, it's been poured into black people's minds since the beginning that you're nothing, you're inferior, you're not as intelligent, and anything that I do is great and good, and what you do is not good at all. Even they'll tell you that every time a new form of black music comes out, what do they say? It's that jungle music you got there, right? They did it with jazz, blues, rock and roll, funk, hip hop, disco, everything. It's all jungle music until young white kids start dancing to it. Then they take it over, and black people got to create something else. So, you know, don't get too uh, don't get too caught up in trying to trying so much to fit into that, because that's how they get you, is you always want to fit into their society instead of building your own. Okay, don't get so caught up in trying to think that I have to assimilate or be like them. I mean, because like I said, if black people were truly racist, how can black people be racist when they worship a white man? They worship white Jesus every Sunday. Okay, for the most part, most black people think that God is white. Okay, other than like a few enclaves out there, still most of them think that God is white and Jesus is white. So you getting into the whole black people are racist. Uh, what other community allows other races to come and build a business within their community? You know, immigrants come here all the time, and one of the first places they set up shop is in black neighborhoods. So how can black people be racist if that's the case? If you're making money off of us and we're patronizing you, how is it that we're racist against you? If you can just come in our neighborhood and set up shop, you won't let us come to your neighborhood and set up shop, will you? What name the black businesses that go to an Asian community and set up a business there and Asians patronize them, or anybody else, right? So we know what it is. We know what it truly is, what racism truly means. I mean, black people more than anybody should know what racism truly means. And once again, like I said at the beginning, don't get too caught up with trying to debate white folks about the definition of what racism is. I'm not going to do that. I don't care about that. And, you know, a lot of the black conservative or libertarian guys, they fell for that. And they felt that they need to come out there and support and defend white folks. Now, there was one black YouTuber, only one that I saw, that disagreed with all the nonsense that Charlie Cheon was saying, and that was D. Chanel. So shout out to her. At the very least, there was someone out there with some sense that didn't go for the okey doke of Charlie Cheon's video. So D. Chanel, 2 thumbs up to you, sister. I followed her for a long time, and she's even rolling her eyes in the thumbnail, which I thought was funny. But she didn't go for the okey doke from these folks. So you guys can let me know in the comments section how you feel about it. I know this video was long, but I wanted to be thorough in what I was talking about and try to hit it from different angles and all angles of how I felt about it. Anyway, Mad Black, and I will be back with my foot on these devils' back.